Um, Last week when we spoke, you made a big point about saying that all the talk and the things that had gone on with Paul and different things had no impact on the squad. How pleasing was it to see that reflected on the pitch on Saturday? You've gone out there and done the job and got a big result.
Well, I'm not surprised. We've got a good group. They know that footy's footy and business is business. So all that type talk, just background noise pretty much. So they had a job to prepare for, and they done their job well.
Coming into the game, Warrington have been impressive this season. They good run of form. To get that sort of result, does it sort of show? Is that a bit of a return? Obviously, I know the last previous couple of games, the Castleford result and London perhaps not quite being the performances you wanted to put yourselves out there, but to get that and do it against the side that's forming right at the top of the league, does that sort of show back on the right track?
Yeah, I thought London, we didn't play at our best. We got the job done, and I feel like the lessons we learned helped prepare us for that Warrington game and got our focus back on track on where we need to be and where our standards in-house need to be. We don't worry about performing before other people and what they expect from us. We just worry about ourselves, and for us, like I said, we knew we had a bit of a dip against London, and it sort of prepared us in the right way for Warrington.
I just wanted to ask you about Jack Allendro. He was really impressive, I thought, at the weekend, and he's one of the players probably been a little bit unheralded in the squad, and he comes out with performance, especially when King has to go off. How pleasing it is to have somebody in the squad who can do that and really step up and put them big performances in.
Yeah, he's old Prince Charming. He's good. He does his job. He doesn't ask for the media coverage. He doesn't ask to be posted anywhere. He does his job and cracks on. He gets enough looks out elsewhere. So he's been awesome for us. I think he's been a solid middle and been consistent in his performances this year and showing in the last few weeks. So I'm glad that someone else has seen his progress other than us.
How's King doing? We know he misses out because of the protocols, but is he doing all right on himself?
Yeah, he's just catching his lungs outside at the moment. He's going through some runs. Nothing wrong with that coconut head, but he's sweet. He's ready to go. He could have played the rest of that game on the weekend, but we look after our players and obviously medical staff did their job, and as the rules go, obviously he misses out this week.
Speaking about the medical staff, you get Brad Singleton and Krisnan Hackinson back in the squad this week. How big an impact can they have as you go through what is like a really tough period of the season?
Yeah, we've got a good team. On the pitch, we've got a real good team. Off the pitch, our medical staff have been awesome. They've worked hard on all our players, and the size of squad that we have. Obviously, we've got to be onto it with how we look after our players at training and after games. So our medical staff have been awesome.
Just looking at Huddersfield, always a big clash, one that the fans look forward to. There's the rivalry there between the two clubs. Quite obviously, the league table's really congested next to each other in the table and things like that. What sort of a game are you expecting this week? Is it going to be a tight contest, or if both teams play today, could it be one that really gets away with big scores?
It could be anything. We know what our game plan is and where we need to strike, and at the same time we know what they come with and the players that they come with, playing at their home as well. They're a different team. I think they're in the stats as the most potent team, so that's something for us to worry about and to look out for and do our homework. So no, it'll be a good game. It's a battle we always look forward to.
Thanks, Krisnan. All the best for tomorrow.
Yes, thank you.
Hi, Krisnan. How you doing? You okay?
Good, mate, how are you?
Yeah, all right, thank you. Just picking up on something you said there. You mentioned you kind of weren't entirely happy with the performance level against Broncos, and you were kind of really happy with how you responded against Warrington. How difficult is it to hit those high standards week in, week out over a long, difficult season?
Yeah, I think the travel, obviously London, it's not down the road. So for us to go with the squad that we have on a bus with the amount of people that were on the bus, I'm not blaming travel at all, but it takes a bit out of your prep in how you prep for most games. Normally your furthest game would be Hull, which is a day in, day out type. But when you're traveling on a bus that long, it might take a bit out of your concentration and how you prepare. Certainly, leading into those games, and like you said, like everyone's expecting. No disrespect to London, but everyone's expecting us to win that game. So for us, our concentration level needs to come back to the ground a bit, and worry about just performing. And for us, well, like I said, in-house, we weren't happy with our performance. But you learn with every game. You take a lesson out of it, and for us, those lessons were actually what we needed to help prepare us for Warrington.
Yeah, you learn from every game and every experience, I guess, so that can all be part of the journey. In terms of the physicality of the sport as well, I mean, obviously your forwards are so important to the way you want to play, but also you're not always going to have your full strength team every week, are you? So that game management has to come into it as well, doesn't it? And I guess that's where Mark's need's so important, because whether you've got everyone that you want on the field or not, he's very good at helping you manage the game.
Yeah, most halves are switched on. I say most halves, but get the one-offs. The boys know how to look after each other. They train hard during the week so that come game time they're not stressed out or doing things that they haven't been practicing, and to help them prepare their bodies, like our S&C coaches and all those guys. Like I said, the medical staff, they've been good with our boys leading into every game and preparing the best they can to make sure those bodies are managed to the best of their ability and in their control. Obviously, you might get the one-off injuries that happen through a bad tackle or something that's out of their control. But I think our boys are real good professional, and they prepared themselves well.
One other thing I wanted to ask you about, the news came up this week of the Premier League wanting, this rumour of wanting to take a 39th game and play around the fixtures abroad again has kind of come back into the headlines, and there's a lot of opposition to that in football about playing an extra round of fixtures abroad. Obviously, Super League have done this. You've had the Magic Weekend where you've taken rugby to different locations. The NRL have taken games to Vegas. Where do you stand on that? Are you a fan of kind of taking the sport to different locations, and would you be a fan of maybe trying to play games abroad in the future?
Yeah, for sure. We're lucky enough to be playing the best sport in the world and the most competitive, most aggressive, and why not? Like, the whole world needs to see it, and some places aren't blessed enough to be able to see it live. So obviously the longer, the more interaction other people have, especially from overseas countries that might or might not have heard of it, I think it's only good for the game. It'll help it grow.
Yeah, it's about growing the game as much as anything, isn't it? And taking it to new places and introducing people to the sport of rugby league.
Yeah, for sure.
Where would you like to go? Any ideas?
Anywhere. I'm not fixed on anywhere to play game. If I was a player,
Obviously, Magic Weekend's moved around. What's your favourite location where you've been so far?
not too sure. I think Anfield was good. I liked Anfield. I was fortunate enough to play there. Obviously, there's Newcastle and there's other games. I think it wasn't Magic. Catalan at Barcelona. That was just a normal fixture.
Yeah, that was a normal fixture, but they played it at Barcelona rather than at Perpignan.
I think that would be good. I was always a Barcelona fan, so that's probably a personal one rather than spreading the game.
But that obviously, that's nice. It's nice for the supporters to go to these different locations and visit places. But is it nice for the players and the staff as well? Does it give you a bit of a lift if you go in somewhere different, to a bigger stadium or a different location to the ones you're used to?
Yeah, definitely. You sort of see a bit of a lift from as a player. You sort of see a bit of a lift in that area where you want to be playing your best footy to play in that game, or you want to be playing strong and hard so you're not injured for that game. There's key factors in everyone trying to go overseas to any sort of foreign country. I have no doubt that everyone that was training back home in NRL during that preseason, they probably had numbers that they haven't seen before, because everyone's trying to be the fittest to be able to be on that plane to play in Vegas. So those types of things, it's good for the game. I think what the NRL's done to get the game to Vegas is awesome, and having that 3-5 year contract, whatever it is, for the next few years is set up the NRL real well, and it's only good for both us and the NRL and the Super League.
Yeah, and obviously there's all sorts of reasons that something like that comes about, and I'm sure it takes a lot of money and a lot of organising as well. But would you be keen to see Super League do something like that in future if it's possible?
100%, and no doubt every club would be on that first flight over there. I guarantee all the fans will be booked the next day. That's one thing I like about the Super League. The NRL fans are good, but I think Super League's the next level.
Brilliant. Great to talk to you today. All the best for the game. Thank you.
It's time, mate.
All right, Krisnan, you okay?
Yeah, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. Good. Most pleasing aspect of the Warrington win, and the main thing you had to work on this week.
The main thing we were happy with was the 2 points, obviously. We were just happy to walk away with the 2 points, especially like we said last press conference, a bit of noise outside of our control, and leading into a big game like this against a big club, and obviously speaking about Sam and his control of the club since he's come in, he's only done good, and they're on a roll. So for us to come away with the 2 points, I think that was the big one for myself, and you probably ask any of our players that made their week.
Yeah, Brad Singleton and Chris Hackinson back in the squad. Good to have them back available for selection. Shows the strength we have in the squad that you can bring them two in, but they're not guaranteed to go back in.
Yeah, exactly that. Like you said, it's good that they're available, but to have our players playing the way that they have been, and giving us coaches a headache in selection is only a good thing. So it's good to see them back and off the injury list.
Yeah, no David Klemmer in the squad this week. Is it a waiting game for him, waiting for that next opportunity?
Yeah, pretty much. Our boys have been solid. Same as Chris Hankinson. He was obviously in good form before he got hurt. So now, depending on how we look and who we pick this week, depends on form. Obviously, like you said, there's no one's ever guaranteed a spot.
Yeah, you went with Mark Sneed and Chris Atkin as your halfbacks, with Cade Cuss at interchange hook against Warrington. Was that just a Warrington thing, or is it a new combination going forward, do you think?
It was the team that we felt was good for that game. So we'll see who rocks out those numbers this week.
Okay. What do you think Huddersfield's main strengths, and what's the main threat Friday?
Main strengths is their S&C coach. Very big, strong man. No, their middles lay the platform for their edges, and their edges are strong strike players. You got Connor, you got Connor at the back, and you got your strike centers in both Nguama and Masters. So and then I think you got probably one of the best wingers in the game this season, and that's Swifty. So he's been leading in loads of stats in his respects and in the Super League. So he's probably the one to look out for.
Yeah, we're 1-2, lost 2 in the league away from home so far this season. Will our away form be key in our quest for the playoffs?
Yeah, you always surprise me with your stats with those types of things. So that's the last thing in our head, thinking away stats, home stats. So, but it's good to know. I might mention that to the boys.
Yeah, currently 6th in the league, 2 points ahead of Huddersfield. Do you see this as a playoff spot, 4-pointer, or is it just too soon for all that?
Nah, too soon for that. I think for us, it's just performing well and being consistent week after week. It's no good lifting and playing the big teams and then dipping when you're looking at the ladder at the. Not saying Huddersfield's that team, but looking at the ladder, I know people see teams at lower levels and think they're the teams you can take it easy on, because there's no easy team in the comp. Obviously, we're the ones to know you had cast down bottom and they've done us over. So every game's a big game for us, and you're always fighting for the 2 points.